Nicole Chimento. Is that right?
Well done. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Not
And
easy.
you, and you are the applicant on the
Yes, my husband and
this
I,
project?
Julian.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Great. Okay. All right. And then I see we also have Emily A. House from the planning department here with us as well. Welcome, Emily. Uh, and Julian Tracon.
Yep.
Traken?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Great. Are we expecting anyone else to join us here on the applicant owner side before we get started?
No, just us.
Okay, great. I need to read through our hearing script. This will just cover the procedure for the hearing and then we'll get started. So this is the September 4th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. Case before us is case number ZH20240103. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, I'll allow Ms. Chimento and Tracone to tell me about the project. Background I think is important, what exactly the relief is that they're requesting, and then why they think that relief is appropriate. If there were anyone here from the public, they'd have an opportunity to speak after the applicants had presented their case. I'll hear from the planning department and Ms. A. House if she'd like to provide any testimony in addition to the staff report that was submitted. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicants will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Conclusions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, if you could take yourself off mute now, I need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Julian?
I do.
Okay. Great. All right. Let's see. Who's going to be taking the lead here on the presentation for the applicants?
I will.
Okay, great. The floor is yours.
And are we supposed to share our screen, or is that going to be taken care of by staff? Just kind of showing the property and where it's located.
Yeah, so I have all the materials in front of me here on my end. You are welcome to share your screen if you would like, if you think that'd be helpful. People do that all the time, but yeah, if you'd like to, it's easier if you do it if you're going to be talking, because then you could use the cursor to, point to different areas.
Okay, perfect. Let me do that then. I just have the staff report pulled up. I'm not sure if you can see my screen or not.
I can. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Great. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you for allowing us to present and request this zoning variance. We are the occupants of 2250 Madison Road, Nicole and Julian. We bought the property in July of 2021 and have been living here since. We are, as you can see, on the corner of Madison Road and Bedford Terrace. The property has a large front yard, but a very, very small backyard. The front yard, is basically not a great place to hang out because of all the traffic on Madison Road. So we have, since we moved in, improved the backyard, but one of the things that the house doesn't have is a garage. And so that's why we're making this request. We'd like to build a 2-car garage. It'll be a small garage because, as you can see, we have a very small backyard. So we don't want to encroach on that too much, but it will be, what we're proposing is to be 20 feet off of the road and the sidewalk. So it doesn't encroach on people, walking around the neighborhood or anything like that. So that is where the house is located. As you can see, that's just the front of the house. The side of the house we've got a small parking pad for one car currently. The street, our street is between a couple of large apartment buildings that don't have adequate parking. So we have a lot of people in the neighborhood that use Bedford Terrace as their parking. And it gets quite congested during different times of the day and different times of the year. So again, like I had mentioned earlier, we are looking to build a garage that's 20 feet deep by 22 feet wide and 20 feet off of the sidewalk. Our designer / contractor has taken a look at what our current house looks like and tried to incorporate some of the materials. We have the shake shingles on a part of our house, so he's incorporated that into the design as well to make it look nice and keep with the house and the neighborhood. And I'm sure staff will talk through the rest of this, but those are just a few things that I thought I would mention. If there's anything else you recommend or any questions, happy to answer those as well.
Well, yeah, could you talk more about the location of the proposed garage and what the proposed setbacks are?
Yeah, the proposed setback is 20 feet off of Bedford Terrace. And the regulations are 34 feet, I believe. And the reason for that, I believe, is because of the house behind us. However, they don't face our house. There's a lot of screening between the two houses. With trees and shrubs. I'm trying to see. Can't really see that from any of these, but and try and zoom in so you can see our neighbors who provided a letter of support for us.
That's the neighbor to the north. Is that northwest there?
Yeah, I guess that would be north.
I think northeast, because the sun is coming from the right. If we look at the picture.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
2216.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You got a letter of support from the neighbors that are going to be closest to the garage there at 2216.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions right now. Anything else you wanted to say, or Mr. Chacon, anything you wanted to say?
Maybe to add what my wife explained regarding the availability of the parking, we also had some safety relating events in the street with people breaking into cars happening earlier this year. So a garage will also help us to maintain the safety of our vehicles.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. I think I will turn it over to Ms. Ahouse from the planning department.
Thank you. So in this case, the setback for an accessory structure within 25 feet of a side yard of another property, it is required to be set back the same distance as the adjacent house's front yard. So that's how we
front yard setbacks here.
The front yard setback of the house to the north is what is used to determine the setback of the accessory structure from the street.
Yeah.
So that's really aimed at creating a streetscape compatibility. And in this context, it's sort of a unique setup where the corner lot goes right to the cul-de-sac. So the house next door is angled. It is set back substantially from the street. If you look at the property where the accessory structure is going, at its closest point, the residence is about 8 feet from Bedford Terrace. And the front yard of the adjacent property that this setback is based on is 34 feet. So it's staff's evaluation that 20-foot setback is a nice sort of streetscape transition from the 8 feet to the 34 feet. And it really meets the spirit and intent of the code. The property is, it has an unusual shaped lot, and the adjacent lot is right on the cul-de-sac. So that is a special circumstance to the property. The garage will reduce the need for on-street parking and give the property owners a safe, covered parking area. And the applicant has shared a letter of support from the adjacent property owner, who is the most impacted by the requested setback relief. So we don't find that granting this variance is going to result in any adverse effects. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great. Next, Ms. Ayhouse. All right. I don't have any questions based on her testimony. Turn it back over to the applicants. Anything you'd like to say in response to that?
No, I appreciate, staff has been really wonderful to helping us through this process. So I appreciate their support.
Great. Okay. I think we will leave it at that then. I haven't a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. And I think based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular project. And so I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. That typically does take about 2 weeks. I think that's a realistic expectation right now. As soon as I finish that, I put it into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that, the planning department can approve the zoning on their end, and hopefully you all can move forward.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. I really appreciate it.
Any
So
questions?
next steps, then once that's approved, we can apply for a building permit.
I mean, I think, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, you can start the application for the building permit now, and it'll just sort of get processed up to the extent that it can before the zoning is approved, and then it'll be held until the zoning actually gets approved. Is that right, Emily?
Yes. So all the other reviewers can start reviewing it, can get you comments, you can work on revisions. Zoning will enter a denial until we have the decision approving it, and then we can change our denial to approval.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, great. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out, or if you'd like a status update on the decision, you can reach out to me directly and I'm happy to provide that to you.
All right. Thank you both.
All right, great.